Hi guys and welcome to another video. Today I'll be listing top 5 worst starter Pokemon. And by worst, I don't mean worst to use in a playthrough or worst in competitive battling. I mean the top 5 starter Pokemon I like the least, based mostly on their designs, origins or my experiences with them. And every slot on this list is occupied by the entire evolution line, even if I only select the final stage or the middle stage, but then I'll make sure to specify which Pokemon in the evolution line I actually dislike. And of course the evolution line in which I dislike all of them are higher up on the list than, for example, evolution line in which I only dislike the first stage or the final stage. And starter Pokemon are an important part of any main series Pokemon game, because most players use one on their teams and get really attached to them, and sometimes they even become their favorite Pokemon. So I know this list will probably offend a lot of people, but just keep in mind that these are just my opinions, and we can have different opinions and still get along. And also, I only really dislike the number 1 and number 2 entry, and entries 3 to 5 I don't really dislike, I just don't like them as much as other starter Pokemon. And with that said, let's just get into the list. Number 5. Chikorita, Bailee and Meganium. I put the Chikorita evolution line on number 5, because there's nothing I really dislike about them, but there's nothing I really like about them either. Because most starter Pokemon have a really cute first stage, a middle stage that's just a transition between the first stage and the final stage, and a final stage that's really cool. But I don't think Chikorita looks that cute, and Meganium definitely doesn't look cool at all. The only one that actually follows the norm is Bailee, because it is pretty much just a transition between Chikorita and Meganium, but that's not a good thing. And I think because of that they look just too bland to be starter Pokemon. They look more like a random forgettable evolution in the middle of the Pokédex. And I know I said I won't take into account how good they are in a playthrough, but Chikorita one is absolutely terrible in a Johto playthrough, so almost nobody picks Chikorita as their starter Pokemon, which makes them even more forgettable. The only place I really remember the Chikorita evolution line from is the Pokemon anime, because Ash has a Chikorita that later evolves into a Bailee that has a crush on him, and that's kinda memorable, but in the games they're completely forgettable. Number 4. Tepig, Pignite and Boar. Okay, let's get the obvious out of the way first. Out of all the typings Tepig could have gotten into evolution, it was a fighting type. Again. I really don't understand why they had to make 3 firefighting starter Pokemon in a row. They could have paired fire with so many other typings and make something much more interesting. But I guess I would have forgave them if they actually made Emperor look really cool. But sadly, they didn't. But first, let's go down the evolution line. The first stage is Tepig, and Tepig doesn't look particularly cute, and being cute is probably the most important part of any first stage starter Pokemon. But it doesn't look that bad either, so I guess I'll let it slide. But the middle stage, Pignite, looks absolutely awful. I know most middle stage starter Pokemon look kinda awkward, but since Tepig and Emperor have such different body structures, it made Pignite look like a giant face with very short limbs. And that's just, I don't know, it doesn't sit right with me. And the final stage Emperor looks kinda cool. Well, not cool enough to actually save this evolution line, but I can still say it looks pretty cool. And it has a really good shiny, so I guess this helps out the evolution line at least a little bit. Number 3. Popplio, Bruno and Primarina. I actually like Popplio, because even though it's still my least favorite Alolan starter, that's only because I also really like Rowlet and Litten, and I still think Popplio looks pretty cute. But I can't say the same thing about either of its evolutions. Its middle evolution, Bruno, is supposed to be based on a seal with features of a human girl, because it looks like it's wearing a dress, and I guess it looks like it has pigtails on its head, but it turns out just looking very weird. And its final evolution, Primarina, is supposed to be based on a seal with features of an opera singer. And this design could have actually turned out looking majestic or I guess in general good looking if it was did with a different animal or just did differently. But in the way it is, it looks more derpy than majestic and just in general looks pretty weird. And especially when you consider Popoyo is a starter, so 87.5% of times it's a male and only 12.5% of times it's actually a female. Number 2. Scorbunny, Raboot and Cinderace. I actually like Scorbunny and Raboot. I think Scorbunny looks pretty cute and Raboot is definitely cooler than most starter mid-evolutions. But I absolutely hate Cinderace. It's one of my least favorite Pokemon. And that's because in general I don't really like Pokemon that resemble humans in both personality and design. Because there's no way a creature in the wild will evolve to resemble a human being. And I especially hate Cinderace because it's based on a football player. And if you didn't know, I absolutely hate football. When I say football, I mean soccer to Americans. And in my country, Croatia, almost all guys love football. But I never had any interest in it. But even if I did, I still don't think I would like Cinderace. Because it looks really dumb. It looks like a guy in a fursuit. So take an inspiration I hate, make it in a design that I think is dumber than I could possibly even imagine, and you got yourself a recipe for a Pokemon I would hate. Number 1. Sobble, Drizzile and Inteleon. I don't dislike any of the Pokemon in this evolution line as much as I hate Cinderace. But I think I dislike the evolution line overall more than I dislike the evolution line of Scorbunny, Raboot and Cinderace. And the only Pokemon in this evolution line I don't actually dislike is Sobble. Because I think his personality translates well into his design. I mean, his personality of being a crybaby. And yeah, I like that it actually has a personality. The only problem I really have with it is that its head is too big for his body. But that's a problem with a lot of Pokemon in the newer generations. So I guess I can let it slide. But the middle evolution, Drizzile, is based on an emo teenager. So a starter middle evolution, which are traditionally awkward, is based on an emo teenager, which are always awkward. So you get probably the most awkward looking Pokemon ever. And the final evolution isn't much better. Inteleon is for some reason based on a spy. Like, how can a creature in the wild, a wizard, gain a personality of a human spy? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And to make it worse, it's freakishly skinny. So it just looks very weird. Like, it shouldn't be a Pokemon. Maybe like a human that's fused with an animal. And I know 2 of the 3 starter Pokemon from Galar are on this list. But I don't actually have anything against Galar. I just think its starters are a little too humanoid. The only one that didn't make it on this list is Rillaboom. And I don't dislike it as much. Actually, I don't dislike it at all. Because even though it has the personality of a human drummer, it still looks like a gorilla. Well, a Pokemon gorilla. And I can actually picture a gorilla Pokemon like taking up drums and start playing them. Like, that at least makes some sense. And that's the list. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, maybe consider liking it or maybe subscribing to my channel and ring the bell button so you get notified when I upload again. Also, leave me a comment telling me, do you agree with my list? And I know these are starter Pokemon, so they're probably some of your favorite Pokemon. But I hope you still won't get offended, because after all, these are just my opinions. And we can have different opinions and still not attack each other. And that's all I have to say for now. So I hope I'll see you again and bye!